You're not boring. I'll give you that. At number 46 on the list, it's the Thomas Crown Affair. Welcome to Long Play Video. Welcome into the shop for me and Kev talking through my 100 favourite films of all time again. We're back.
I feel like you've forgotten what we were doing for a minute there. We've been doing this for a year now.
Feel like we just did this yesterday.
Almost feels like that, doesn't it?
It's a quiet week in the shop. Yeah, it's after the bombasticness of Empire Records. We're now up to, I almost said down again. We're now up to number 46 on the list. A classic, I believe, that you have seen. But let me just slide over the video to you so that you can.
I think I remember this. Actually, no, I don't remember this one. I remember the film. I thought I was going to say I think I remember the cover, but no, I don't remember this cover. This is really bizarre as a cover, considering I know what the film's about. So there's way too much sort of mustard jello going on.
So first of all, the film is the Thomas Crown Affair.
Yes,
Thomas Crown Affair.
Pierce Brosnan, Rene Russo. It is a very good film. I do like this film. What's the tagline? When you raise the stakes, you heighten the action. Well, I mean, can't argue with that, can you? It's very true.
This is the cover of my DVD downstairs that I have. Yeah,
it looks like a Bond cover, don't you think?
Yeah, well, yeah, because because that's what they were selling.
You think that's the premise, that it was supposed to be like a Bond? It's before he was Bond, right?
No, this came out the same year as his second Bond, so he'd already appeared in the game. The game conversion to movie that was GoldenEye. The game definitely came first, and then this is the same year actually as The World Is Not Enough. So
right, okay, so that does explain. So yeah, for anyone who hasn't seen it, it's basically the side profile of Pierce Brosnan looking into the distance, with Rene Russo looking directly forward behind him, and then like an exploding helicopter in the side. It could have looked more James Bond if it tried, really.
I'm not sure.
And I actually know what this is about, and there's nothing on this DVD cover that suggests what this is about. This is fantastic.
Well, even the kissing with the towel and stuff, that's from a
on the back,
Bond. Yeah, isn't that from a Bond where he's in a sauna and one of them's trying to like squeeze him to death?
Is it? Is it
no, I think it's one of the Pierce Brosnan ones, isn't it? Where the woman's trying to, squeeze him with her legs.
You should watch all of them and report back.
Well, I mean, how do you feel about Pierce Brosnan as Bond? I mean, at this time, with Bond especially, pretty much the biggest movie star, in the world, because this was like Bond reinvented, right? And after GoldenEye came out, did really, really well. Obviously, we'd had quite a long break between this and the Timothy Dalton, which also not many people will kind of class as classic Bond.
Yeah.
So I think this was sort of cashing in on that kind of him being the star, and by all reports, it was like this was something he wanted to make, and he could do that because he was Bond, and they knew that he would they'd get people into the cinema.
Yeah, well, that's fair enough. I honestly think, we've got a lot to thank him for. The Bond franchise had been, I think, like really ruined and obliterated after Timothy Dalton. It just went downhill. Obviously, you had that massive gap, and then you were like, how can we bring Bond back? And which is going to sound funny, and modernize it, which is weird because obviously it still wasn't modernized to the right level, but it was modernized in a way, right? Like it was watchable at that time. Obviously, there are still issues with that Bond character, as we know. But I honestly think, we've got a lot to thank him for. I think everyone went to, because as you said, there was a big gap. So it was a big risk. No one was necessarily going to go and see it. We'd had the Timothy Dalton films that were terrible. So, and it'd been a long gap. So people might have just thought, well, I'm not going to the cinema to see this. But I do think that he did a really good job in like reinsurging that franchise. I think GoldenEye was very good. And then obviously, the others maybe not necessarily the best.
Goes downhill quite quickly.
And he's not necessarily the best Bond in the world, but I think he did a pretty good job. And I honestly think that he, and obviously the writers and everyone involved in GoldenEye, but I think that GoldenEye was the resurgence of the Bond franchise. And without that, you probably wouldn't have Daniel Craig playing it now. So I think, he did really well in that. And then obviously, like you said, he's basically tried to play a similar sort of Bond character in this, but it's like casual Bond, I think, in the Thomas Crown affair.
Well, as any research will tell you, he's actually not allowed to appear in another film at the time in full tuxedo and tie. Like that's actually against the image rights of someone playing Bond. So he is in a scene where he's in a tuxedo, but the tie is undone, and that is because he wasn't allowed to do up his tie, which I think is quite funny.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I mean, this by MGM, right? Because I've seen the line at the top.
Yeah.
Yes, it's saying yes. I guess they must have given it the all clear.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is kind of Bond if he got into business rather than became a secret agent. Really, isn't it? Because even I think the backstory they make him Scottish and that he went to a private school, which is Bond's backstory in the books. And obviously, it's explored a little bit, I guess, in Skyfall or one of the Craig ones. So
I think it's Skyfall.
So,
what do you think? What do you think about Brosnan?
I don't think he's a very good Bond. He kind of has that Roger Moore, and actually, funnily enough, I don't think it's him, but I think the writing. They went for more of a Roger Moore than a Sean Connery thing. They went for cheesy. I think a lot of the characters' names are like just ridiculous double entendres. Like just for me, I just don't think it really worked. And GoldenEye, I would still, the game over the over the movie every day of the week. And it is.
But you got to think though. But although we look back now and it wasn't great, that did start the franchise again. It was good enough that he got the franchise going. And I think that's the thing. He's definitely, I think he was good enough that you're like, actually, yeah. And maybe you're right. Maybe people were used to Roger Moore, so they made it cheesy for that. Well,
reason. The thing it's pretty interesting because at the same time, Austin Powers was kind of going. So there was a very popular sort of mockery of the whole thing and kind of send off of the whole thing at the same time as he was actually playing Bond as well. So I do think GoldenEye definitely, because it was the first Bond for I don't know 10 years or maybe 8 years or something like that. And it was a big deal.
It was a big deal, right? I do remember it being a big deal. People being like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they're doing this again." Because this was in the olden days where you didn't research franchises, unlike now when you dig them up and resuscitate them. But in those days you didn't really. You just moved on, right? And so going back, I remember people going like, "Oh, this is a big risk. Is this a good idea?" I mean, obviously now, it worked out very well.
Just keep cranking them out, and someone will go and see them. Obviously, directed by John McTiernan, the director of Die Hard. So,
nice.
big director of the time. Brosnan, big name at the time, and then Rene Russo, who obviously we talked a little bit about Rene Russo back in the day when we covered Free Jack. Just keeps coming up. But again, just like the end of what I think is just an amazing run of movies going from Free Jack for me, but probably not for everyone else, but from Lethal Weapon 3, Line of Fire, Outbreak, Get Shorty, Tin Cup, Ransom, Lethal Weapon 4, into the Thomas Crown Affair. Those are all very watchable movies where she plays a really good character. But I think in this movie, I just think that the character is really good and really well written and is as strong.
Yeah.
I my controversial take on this
Oh
is
yeah.
this character, is she actually a better Bond than Pierce Brosnan would have been? Because
I
she
think
had the
she would have been a good Bond.
sophistication, she does the manipulation super well. She's strong and powerful.
Yeah.
She does the interrogation scene where she slips into Romanian, and just her
Yeah.
character in this, I think,
Yeah.
is almost a better Bond than
Then
certainly
yeah.
non-GoldenEye Pierce Brosnan.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she is very good in this. Yeah, and she's a good actress. Like you're right. You look back and you think she's had some really good performances. Even like you were saying, Ransom. God, I remember watching Ransom. That was such a good film when you first watched it. And she's had an eclectic mix, right? She's not not been typecasted. So yeah, I think she's very good in this. I think they're both good. Also, Dennis Leary, like as with like Demolition Man, he like plays a great sort of side character.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on the Dennis Leary train. He's pretty
like
creepy. I don't like him because, funny enough, there's a whole thing about him stealing jokes from Bill Hicks back in the day, who was the favorite of mine, comedian wise.
Yeah.
But like, I think he's quite creepy in this movie, sort of unnecessarily so as well, because like obviously he's trying to hit on Rene Russo and it doesn't work, and then he's like following her and yeah, it's just a bit. I think it's just completely unnecessary. You don't need to have there be a love triangle or like the fact that someone else is after her. I just don't think it really adds anything to it.
Yeah, okay.
So he's a bit weird.
I'll look out for that on the rewatch because I remember thinking that he was good, and that he's extra character, just adding that sort of extra dynamic to it. So I'll look out for that and see what I think. So yeah, it's reasonably high up on the list, 46. What's the hot take from Andy? Why is it nostalgia? Or is it just your love of Pierce Brosnan?
Yeah, I mean, definitely a little bit of nostalgia. So this came out in '99 as a university, basically playing GoldenEye for 17 hours a day until I completed it, which I did. I just want that on record. Definitely what I will bring up with the aliens as well. And I just remember like this came out. I think we heard that this was coming out. So obviously I did what any self-respecting geek would do, and I found the original version with Steve McQueen, and I watched that so that I could tell everyone that was way better than the remake. And then I hated the original. So that
really?
It's super slow and just very, I think, of its time. It doesn't really stand up now. It's like Faye Dunaway, Steve McQueen. Like great actors, and there's a lot from the time they play chess, and it's sort of at the time it was one of the sexiest scenes ever. And you watch it now, and you're just
really,
what is happening? Like this is just so boring. They're just playing chess. Like what's going? Like there just doesn't seem any chemistry now as at the time it really did. So then we went to see that. I think we went to see this at the cinema. I remember, but more my memory was this then became like one of the we'd go down to the video shop, we'd get out a DVD to watch, and then we'd usually get this out as well, just to like watch it again. And then as soon as it came out on DVD, I bought it. I think I bought the soundtrack as well, which I think is really good. Actually, first time I'd ever heard Nina Simone was at the end of this movie, and then got really into Nina Simone because just didn't understand her voice and what it was, and just like having no context for it. I was just like, what? Like, is this a man? Is this a woman? Like, where are these voices coming from? Like, such a distinctive, voice. And, really love, lots of her songs now. So because of that, I think it's a slick, good thriller. It maybe has a few Columbo vibes because you kind of know what's happened at the beginning. You sort of see the crime, and then it's whether they're gonna do it. But just watched it over and over again. I remember really standing up and just like enjoying it, even though what's going to happen. definitely the chemistry between Pierce and Rene Russo is super, super strong. And that kind of makes the film, and not too many bits where it's too cringy. Obviously, I think first is this first film on the list with the sex scene. I feel like it might be.
Yeah, it might be. Oh no, we just had Empire Records. Literally the previous
film. But there's no, you don't see any. There's no sex scene. They're behind the door.
Scene. Yeah, there is. Yeah, they have sex. I guess. Yeah, there's no actual scene of it. Well, yeah. Look, something to look forward to for everyone that's been waiting for that on your list.
Well, PG rating, or don't let the kids watch it. But like that's the only bit. It is a bit weird. I would say the sex scene is a bit weird, especially like the fact that having sex on a staircase, and you're just like, that can't be comfortable, surely. So I remember that being a bit odd. But yeah, the rest of it, you just, again, like snappy dialogue, well shot, kind of moves along, lots of different set pieces. They, one of the things, they seem like they're having a good time. Like they're just all the way through. You can just imagine that, both of them were having a good time with the script, with the shots and stuff like that. And they just seem to be enjoying it. And it's sort of two good central performance that you can't take your eyes off of. Good script, good plot. It was like just a good thriller to watch. Not particularly deep, nothing, second level, third level, but just
not deep, no.
No, but just like this is an entertaining film. And when we talk about a film being entertainment, I think this is one that I would put very highly on that list.
Yeah, I'm going to be interested to see about the Dennis Leary character, as you say, because it's nearly 2 hours, right, this film. I think if you chopped his character out, you would probably have to tighten that up quite a lot, because his scenes do just add an extra bit of relief to the main storyline. Like, I think because it can be quite intense between them, it's good. Like, you don't know what's happening, and you obviously have to build that tension. But I think if you don't have, I mean, obviously you could have someone else if, with your hatred of Dennis Leary. But I think you probably do need that third character at this length film to just break the scenes up a little bit. So I'll watch out for that. It'll be interesting to see how that fits in. But yeah, I've got fond memories of this. I remember this being a good film. It's I think Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo are both really good in it. I think there's a lot of like tongue in cheek. There's a lot of probably like connections or references to Bond. So it's all like little funny gags in there. And I think it's just a really nice. I like these sort of movies anyway. So like for me, this is like perfect. So, and it's got the Columbo bit in for you. So
it was back in the day when really rich people were just, innocently bored and committed small crimes rather than, ran for president or, anything like that. So,
yeah. Elon, well, looking at you. Yeah.
But did well at the box office. It's sort of interesting because 1999 is kind of considered like one of the, like the top movie years. Like this. So this, I kind of overall, as far as money is concerned, wasn't anywhere near the top, but just kind of like stayed at like 3 or 4 for a couple of months. So made kind of money over enough time, and only made about 125 million. So it wasn't like it was a huge hit. But like just it was kind of, at the time it was a bit marketed as just a grown up movie, a thriller, not kind of quite wide. But the obviously like 99, first Star Wars back after that, Sixth Sense, Toy Story 2, Matrix, Notting Hill.
Oh, wow.
There's a lot of big films in 99. Although American Beauty won the Oscar, which doesn't stand up particularly well these days.
I've only ever watched that once, I think, and I remember everyone going on about it, thinking it was amazing. I think maybe from the artistic view of it, I think more why it was portrayed. But yeah, I can't remember the exact storyline, but I feel like it was pretty dodgy and probably not worth rewatching now.
Yeah, you know what? I've never seen it. Never,
No, you
never seen it.
haven't.
Never want to see it.
Oh
But then,
wow!
yeah,
I'm gonna add that
you always say
to my list of movies I've seen that you haven't seen. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought you were going to say to your top 100 just to spite me.
Yeah.
Just so that
No,
I
it's
haven't
full of
seen a
Dennis
movie
Leary
in season
films.
2.
Yeah.
It's all of his
Demolition
stand-up.
Man. Yeah. Yeah, just him doing the jokes all the time.
But then, you know, also interesting movies. You know, Fight Club came out that year. Virgin Suicide,
God,
so
great
Sofia
movie.
Coppola. Magnolia, being John Malkovich. So yeah, you know, there was, you know, well, Sixth Sense obviously at the time was just kind of came out of nowhere, right? And established M. Night, and still he's still making movies somehow today, which I'm not sure how, but so yeah, like really, really competitive film. But
all
I think
the Twitter feeds going on today, you're like, you're taking everyone on.
But yeah, I think it's just it's just one of those films that's I mean, this is going to be the shortest episode ever. We're going to be like, yeah, no, that was good. Okay, let's close up the shop, go for a bit.
Yeah. No, I do remember really liking this, but I am interested to see about the Dennis Leary character. So I'm going to look at it to see, like what you're saying, is it a bit creepy and unnecessary? I want you to look to see if you definitely need that third person. Otherwise, would it just be really strange, just the two of them, or it wouldn't build the same level of tension? And then you can tell me who you'd rather play it than Dennis Leary. And the answer can't be anyone.
Yeah, maybe. I just think we'll do that. Because I think you just don't need the dating, you don't need the chemistry. Like, you do need the cop, because you need the establishment for her to just kind of prove that her character isn't the establishment, right? She doesn't care about the law. She's just in it for the money to begin with. But like, I just we'll
watch and say, we've got our tasks. Off we go. Yeah.
We won't bother with the prediction. I'm not going to be like, I predict Kevin's going to think that was creepy.
But you could be right.
You know, who knows? But yeah, let's put it on and see you after the jump.
Less good than I remember. Which,
well, I mean, at least you remembered it.
That's a good point. And
I haven't actually seen this film.
I have actually watched it, I think, within the last couple of years as well. So I should have remembered that I remembered that last time, but I obviously didn't. I mean, he's still a good film. I still did enjoy it, but it is quite funny. I don't know. Maybe I'm just so indoctrinated now to your films that I'm just looking out for it all the time. For me, it felt like there was too much romance, not enough heist. And I don't know if I'm just, is it just, am I indoctrinated now where everything I watch, I'm now like, I'm paranoid that there's too much romance in it?
Or is it the beginning of the list when you were like, oh, I didn't remember there was a romance side to the story.
Yeah. And now all of a sudden,
focused on the romance.
I did still enjoy it, but I do think, I don't know, I'll be interested to see what you think. The middle section, when they're sort of building the romance, I feel like it does go on a lot and it doesn't break much. I think you could have sneaked in another little small heist in between then, and that would have been fun. Because the whole point is about, oh, he likes doing these things, and I guess obviously he's spending time with her, but I think it would have been nice if there was just another little small piece, I think, in between. Because it's basically that the heist just bookend the film right at the start and the end.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so it's not really, kind of almost isn't a heist film in a way. And so, I thought there was maybe one more little small heist in the middle that would have been better. But yeah, do you still enjoy it?
It kind of is though. Well, because she finds the painting, and so like she breaks it, like the date, and she breaks in and finds it. So that kind of gives you a bit of back and forth. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the cat and mouse bit, I would say. But it's not really a heisty, is it? It's just like he knows he's ahead of her. But I think they could have done. He could have done another little heist, and they'd been like, "Oh my god, there's another one gone," or something.
They saved that for
Yeah,
the end. Yeah, no, I think yeah,
no,
I know what
the
you're
end is
saying.
good.
I think it's an hour 53. Yeah, it
Yeah,
could be an hour 45. I think like you could trim it
yeah,
down by 10 minutes. I think, and I mean, I
yeah.
still personally think you can get rid of all the Dennis Leary stuff because it's still weird. So, what did you
He actually,
what did you think of it on the rewatch?
yeah, on the rewatch with the Dennis Leary focus. Yeah, he.
The
I mean,
Dennis Leary cut.
yeah, yeah. Do you remember sometimes they used to do that with football, where you could just they had a camera just follow the player
Yeah,
around?
player
What
cam, just
player
have a
cam? Yeah,
Dennis
yeah,
Leary
just
cam.
Dennis Leary cam. What a weird thing that was. Oh, his hair really annoyed me. God, it was awful. I didn't like that at all.
Imagine.
But yeah, yeah, you're right that they do like they use her in weird ways at the start. Like they really over sexualize her in her entrance when it like pans up her leg, and
Yeah, that's
I was like, that's a little bit weird. This is strange. And so yeah, I feel like they definitely over sexualize her, and then obviously that's when I guess the Dennis Leary piece comes in. Yeah, could you just have him just being the cop? I think so. Could you just not have him and just have the other cop?
no,
Probably.
the
Yeah.
other cop's great. I like it,
Yeah.
and even by the end, even the other cop's just getting annoyed with Dennis Leary, and he's when Dennis Leary is like, "Are you there? Are you in the lobby?" He's like, "Yeah, I'm in the lobby. Like
He's-
that's where I'm supposed to be." I was like,
yeah.
"You see, even the other cops hate Dennis Leary because he's a queep."
Oh dear. Yeah, I didn't really get like creepy vibes off him, but yeah, I did think like his character was a bit weird and not necessarily needed. So yeah, I got what you're saying.
There's no way that he slept with 5 women in 3 days. I mean,
Oh, that was
where would
such a weird line to
where would
add in. I
you?
was
Yeah,
like,
where would you
oh,
have the time? Who's got the time for that, honestly?
yeah,
And
yeah,
then he says that he beat someone into unconsciousness, and he's still a cop. Like if
yeah,
that's not an indictment
yeah.
of the New York police force. I'm not sure what is. And then even at
Yeah,
the end, she kisses him and says, "You're a good man." You're like, "No, he's not. He beat someone
yeah, yeah,
unconscious
yeah.
from
Yeah.
a position of authority." Like, no, he's not.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a weird thing. That felt like like he kind of has these sort of speeches in films, doesn't he? And I think obviously he has a big one in Demolition Man. And I think that works quite well in Demolition Man. It maybe is a little bit
Yeah,
too long. I wonder if this is something that he sort of requests, as sort of an ad hoc thing that he likes to do. But that because it kind of felt like a monologue that he
yeah,
prepared.
maybe like
I
ad
mean,
libbed or something. People are like,
yeah, but but yeah, I mean, it was yeah, it wasn't good. No, that scene is a bit like this feels like they've just added this scene in to like give Dennis Leary a bit more screen time.
Funnily enough, even Rennie Reese's character at the end of it says, "Is there a point to the story?" And I'm like, yeah, Catherine, I'm
Yeah,
with you.
yeah,
What is the point of the story?
yeah.
That's a
Where have we
meta
come?
comment on
Yeah,
the film.
we've
Is
come
there a point to
full
the story?
circle.
No.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the great thing of it. It should just be entertainment, shouldn't it?
Yeah, no, I mean, I
Yeah.
think that there were, yeah, sort of definite Bond overtones. I think,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
even like to begin with, obviously, it's like the close up of his face, and I think the first line is actually
yeah,
say, "Just tell me about women." And so you can see that they are sort of
yeah,
playing with kind of the Bond and like Bond
yeah,
women, which I kind of remember there was sort of a lot about like the Bond women, sort of Bond girls being more into the action, right? In the Pierce
yeah.
Brosnan
Oh, for sure.
ones,
Yeah,
right? Because and I think that was
yeah,
kind of what people were sort of saying I think even at the time it was like, okay, yeah, you can't just have like the Bond girls that just kind of models and don't do anything. So they definitely kind of play into that in the beginning, and then I think almost the entire first kind of first 20 minutes with the heist, with going into the office, and the sort of the suit and the strut and stuff like that. Yeah, it is all
yeah,
very very Bond. And then I
yeah,
think it gradually, like, and then the introduction of her character I think is really good, and then sort of gradually, yeah, like his character comes out a bit more, that he has sort of got this, sort of cocky style and stuff. And I think that it's interesting because obviously almost without the psychiatrist bits, then almost it's her movie to a certain extent. You kind of you almost sort of see it more, but the psychiatrist bits, I think that's sort of his inner monologue almost, that where you because you kind of find out, for her that she's conflicted, and is it about the painting, is it about him, but for him you kind of never really know without the psychiatrist bit, where they're like, oh, but you actually now really like this woman, and so that kind of gives you the insight into him, which I think just about works, but again, it's a bit of a heavy-handed way to do it.
But I think it did feel a bit strange.
Yeah, but flicking back and forwards to it is
it felt a bit strange, because it's not really like you're right, you could have had him monologuing back and forth, but flipping back and forth to his therapy session seems a bit strange.
Yeah,
especially when they're at one point she's just leaning on a wall and just laughing at him.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not sure you should pay this therapist anymore.
Paid Dunaway or not, I'm not sure she's a good psychiatrist. You're not supposed to laugh at a patient. Yeah, but I do also think like their interplay, as in Pierce and Rene Russo's, their interplay is really good. I particularly this time I noticed much more like after the sex scene, which I think is a bit unnecessary, but after the sex scene, when he has the juice, he has like the green juice. There's this great moment where like they're looking at each other, and she says like, "Oh, I'm sorry that I'm like a foregone conclusion or something." And you can tell like in his look, you can tell actually I fucked up. Like preparing this, I've gone too far in it. And it's probably like 10, 15 seconds of actually just them looking at each other. And you get it. I really got the sense that he was then like, I'm showing off, but actually that was just a bit humiliating. And again, like,
because she pulled him up on it.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing. Yeah, and she is actually calling him up on it, and then he responds to it, and then he almost sort of tries to backtrack a little bit. And I think that's the thing. They're both at the top of the game. So people saying there's no chemistry between them is just ludicrous. But I think there's a few bits of that, of just the interplay where they're just the two of them together. They do kind of communicate stuff without the script, which I think is great.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think the chemistry's there. I think she's very, very good. I'd say she's definitely the best person in this film.
Yeah.
I guess one of the things that maybe I thought didn't come across too much was they didn't quite, I don't think, now that sort of torment, or that, do I really like her, but can I trust her? I don't think they really nailed that piece. So I never really felt that he was like, oh, can I really trust her? He always felt like he was in on it. He was like, yeah, this is going to be fine. And then with her, I think you get it a bit more, but I think that could have been maybe a bit better. I think that's for me where, not the chemistry, but maybe that's what people mean, is that, you didn't necessarily get the complete feeling that they were both fighting internally of, oh, should I actually be doing this? Should I trust this person?
Yeah.
But I think you're right. They work very well together.
When they go to the island, I think, or when she sort of says, "Oh, it must go very well, people that you bring here," and he says, "Oh, I don't bring anyone here," and almost they needed to they needed another couple of beats on that. I think they do it because the toy train is there, and there's a picture of presumably his mum or something, and so that's supposed to be him actually like, okay,
letting her in.
I don't bring people there. This is like the place I go to, and I'm bringing you here. But they could bring that around a bit more. I do think it's totally unrealistic in some places. Like when she drinks that entire can of Pepsi and then she doesn't burp. I mean, that's just not possible. If you down a can of Pepsi, I'm sorry, you're going to have to have a couple of burps. That's a lot of carbonated drink. So even if you're Rene Russo, I think you're having to let out some gas from downing it. So
was there anything that you didn't like about it?
No, I think with these films you can be a bit more sort of after watching, and with the thought that you like it, then you're a bit like, I don't know how 3 people fit inside that horse. I don't think that's I don't think that's possible. And also they seem to forget that the painting is missing. during the first half of the police investigation, because they're like, oh, so we foiled the crime, and you're like, no, because the painting's missing. You get that, right? And they're like, oh, the Romanians, and they messed up and they did this, and you're like, no, because the painting's missing. So like, clearly it did work because the painting's missing. And they seem to have
it's worked so well that you're not even following it up anymore.
They're just like, well, we definitely sorted this out. So there's just sort of small bits, which I think you get in any sort of heist movie, having watched it a few times. But that, I think that they almost lean into that a little bit with kind of the last painting, where it's gone, and you sort of whatever you do, don't go on the internet and try and find out what people think happened, because there's an entire wormhole of bad writing. The only sort of really big thing. So he's 42 in this. Okay, they say it at a point he's 42.
Yeah. Okay.
I couldn't. He didn't seem 42. Did he? He seems quite a bit older than 42, doesn't he?
Are you worried that you? Are you worried that you? Yeah. You're like, what has happened?
I think I look way younger, but also, he's achieved quite a lot. So,
well, I was going to ask you this actually, because one of the, obviously it being a film of his age, and I think, as you said, they call him like a multi-millionaire, don't they, rather than a billionaire or whatever. Yeah. But I mean, obviously, like, effectively, let's say he is a billionaire. And I was thinking, so one of the things that he does, obviously he steals the baby, but then when he's like doing something for fun, he goes sailing on like a catamaran, and then and then he goes in the what they call that? The plane that they're
glider
in as well. Yeah, the glider. And I was thinking, so what would you? And I was like, going to ask you, what do you think you would do if you had like all the money in the world? What's the what is going to be your hobbies or your? Because that's the thing, you can't just be like, I'm just going to play soccer or football for everyone in the UK.
Just going to bet money on a golf shot. Why does he give the guy 10-1 on that golf shot without even asking? Surely he'd just be like, I bet you $1,000 you can't do it. All right, I'll bet you $1,000. Like, there's no need to give him 10-1.
That's why he's a billionaire and we're not. He takes the risks.
It would just be like going to like cool stuff all the time. Like every day there's something going on somewhere, isn't there? And so like that would definitely, if I just had unlimited money, it would be like, the Super Bowl and the NBA finals, and then any like the World Cup, and then you just go and see every like major religious event, you'd go and see every sporting event, you just go I would definitely just go and see everything. That would kind of be the thing.
I was wondering that, because I was thinking, if I had all the money in the world, would I just go on a catamaran? I was thinking, I definitely wouldn't. I would do something else, but I don't know what it would be.
It's a bit of Swallows and Amazons, funnily enough. We're reading that at the moment with my daughter. So the two boats racing along. It's a bit different, I think, the sailing that they have, but still, it did look fun. It's always cool to like lean off the side of a boat. Surely that's that's going to be good.
It did look good, but I don't know if that'd been my first thought that I would have done.
I did wonder. The one big question I did have was, they say that the helicopter was abandoned in Queens, and I'm just not sure how you just abandon a helicopter in Queens. I'm fairly sure that some people would find it a bit strange just landing a helicopter.
Loads of helipads in Queens. It's renowned for it.
Not foolproof anyway.
Because there was something that I really noticed this time around that I hadn't noticed previous, and that's obviously, looking at it from a more analytical point of view. And then there's stuff like that you like, where they just sort of like, they just let it go, and they go, well, this is fun. We'll just, and you're right, this is a heist film. You sort of just let it go, and you're like, but that's definitely wouldn't have worked, but fair enough. But they really spoon feed you at the start, don't they? They're like, like the Trojan horse, like it's a horse,
Yeah.
and you're like, oh, okay, we got it, it's Trojan horse. And then later on, someone even says Trojan horse just in case you missed
Yeah,
missed it the
exactly.
first time round. Then they've got like he walks into the building and you see the name of the building, and then they have that scene where the guards are, oh, who does this guy think he is? Does he own the building? And then they're like, and you're like, oh god, okay, well, I got it. We had it. We knew that he owned the building because we saw the sign, but let's just make sure we definitely know he owns the building.
Yeah.
And then the EA says to him, "Oh, you forgot your briefcase." We're like, "Okay, so we've got it. We got the briefcase."
he left the suitcase.
So, yeah. So I feel like they do spoon feed you quite a bit at the start that I didn't remember.
Yeah, but that's also sort of, I think that's sort of part of his character, where they're trying to say, yeah, he's very rich, but he like knows everyone's name, and he's like talking to people. He knows the guards. That he's not a complete jerk. He's happy that John's been on holiday, which I don't think is probably going to be the case. Welcome back, never go on holiday again. Or maybe he just like he had an afternoon off, and it's actually just a sarcastic, oh, welcome back.
Yeah.
They're trying to make a point there. I also don't see why, like, before the heat goes up, why don't they just track who bought the briefcase in? Because at one stage there's only two of them in there, and so they could have then just said to the security guard, "Oh, who bought the brief? Who were you talking to when there was just the one person sat down here and you were talking to them?" Because then he leaves the briefcase there. So yeah.
But then he does leave with the briefcase, right? So
no, not the first time. Yeah, no, not the. But that's it. But if they used they spot that there's a third one in there. But if they would have just rewound it, it's just basically I've watched too many Columbos, so I'm just better at this than your average policeman, unfortunately. So.
Yeah, exactly. You're like all over this. You'd be fine. Yeah,
I'm a better policeman than Dennis Leary, obviously. So.
But yeah, they don't really delve into that, do they? Into the like the titanium one. But I guess you're right. You need to just sort of move things along, I guess, don't you?
Yeah.
But
romantic
was there anything
heist movie?
Well, exactly. Yeah, romance with a bit of heist. Yeah. Was anything that you thought that dates the film?
Twin Towers. You see them? That's always it's always a bit funny, isn't it? Seeing them. I thought that, funnily enough, I was listening to a podcast on it, but the blue dress shirts, you don't see that color. You don't see sort of the is it Oxford blue dress shirts as much these days. I think maybe it's a post-COVID
thing.
I still actually
everyone's in salmon now.
Yeah, maybe in salmon. Well, everyone's in hoodies now because everyone works from home. So who's gonna put on a suit?
That's true. You imagine that? I'd love it if like some people every now and then just when they're on Teams or Zoom just went, "Oh, I'm just going to put a suit on today," and just be having a suit on.
Wear a tie. How suspicious would it be? It always used to be a bit weird. When people turned up to the office more dressed up. You'd be like, you're either going to a funeral or an interview. But if you did it on a Zoom call, people would be like, "Wait, what? Are you just at home? Where are you?
What's going on?" I'm just in the suit. And why are you in the suit? No. It's there. I thought I'd use it.
I've got shorts on. It's a laundry day, so I just wear my suit now. How about you? Anything that you thought dated it?
Not really. I was trying to think if there was anything.
It does stand up quite well still, like the action and stuff. I think, yeah.
And obviously, like the intelligence of the heist, like the writing of both of them is very good. The end scene is brilliant. The end scene is so good. That really brings the whole film back. And it's so clever. And obviously they laid the little breadcrumbs earlier, which is good. As, the man with no name. But
Son of Man.
Yeah, it's really good. I really love that bit. The man with no name. The whole last scene is awesome. And then kind of I was thinking about it this time, and obviously like that it does tie together really nicely because she tells the cops about it, so she hasn't
compromised herself, which actually is kind of what he wants from her, is for her not to compromise herself. But then she goes to the helipad and doesn't bring the police. And that kind of then shows him that actually she is just interested in him, and she does just want to be with him, because she kind of calls the police on the first bit, but then not. She's not going to, she's not going to bring them to the helipad to catch him.
Yeah.
So then it kind of, it does, like, she proves that it's not just about the painting and stuff. And I thought that was good. But I didn't realize that you could just. Yeah, I didn't realize that you could just give the check-in person at an airport something to mail. I mean, first class is different, as we know from The Wedding Singer, but apparently you can just, can you deliver this somewhere? Oh, we'll get there tomorrow. Yeah, no, that's fine. I didn't realize that you were postal service.
Yeah. They're probably like, oh my God, can you believe what they've asked me to? And then they just put that straight in the bin. And like, oh, it didn't make it. Oh, that's weird. Must have been the post. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like a £400 million painting. I'll just take that home, I think. Yeah, no, didn't make it.
Yeah. That is good as well. That scene when she puts it on the fire and you're like, is this, is this a fake or is it real? That's it. And they delayed it well. That scene plays out very well. I did enjoy that one.
Shall I open another bottle? Yeah, why don't you?
They're both of their acting is very good in that, because they're both sort of like looking like you really don't know, because obviously he knows, and the way he portrays it, you're like, I don't know if it is a fake or not. I'm like feeling like it is not. And then she's like, does it down. She's like, oh my God. Because obviously she, that's her whole job. She's been getting our artifacts back and making sure that they are restored and never lost. And so she's thinking, oh God, if I just burned something that could never be restored. So I thought that was a good scene. I did like that.
No, that's when it's the two of them, like the interplay between them is, it's just awesome.
Yeah, I thought that I honestly, Rene Russo was brilliant in this. I think she's great. She takes the film
better Bond than Pierce Brosnan.
I think she would have been a good Bond.
She would have been an amazing female Bond.
And just we might as well just break out of line for now. But I think in terms of the characters that I would have been, I had her. I was like, yep, I think she's got the best character.
you would have been her.
Yeah, yeah. While we're here, then what did you go for?
I quite like Paul, to be honest with you. His manservant. I think he's just living the life. He's only in it like 3 times. It doesn't seem like he's got a lot to do. I would say I think he can stop Catherine going up a bit harder when he's up there with the girl.
He's just a nice guy.
Never looks happy. But he goes out for a wander. Like when they break in, he's just like, all right, well. Thomas Crown is never home, so he's basically living in a really nice house. Never really sees him. That'd be a good job. I'll do that. I'll do that job.
We'll let Pierce know. We're like, if there's an opening, we've got a CV for you. How do you describe it to the aliens?
I just said, look how much fun being a human and living on Earth can be. Because I feel like if they watch this, then they'd just be like, you know what? Let's leave these guys. They seem to be having fun. Let's try it.
I don't know, though.
Become humans and live this life.
But only if you have that amount of money. That's the key. You need that.
We don't need to tell the aliens. Have we explained money to the aliens? I feel like we have. Maybe in Brewster's Millions.
I feel like we should tell them, be like, oh, look at these people, look how extravagant they are because they have too much money. Maybe you should eliminate them all, and then we can share that wealth back out with everyone else, and we can all be okay again.
Maybe. Is that what you went for?
I went for a rich businessman takes up some random hobbies, including water painting. So
that is interesting. So as a new segment, we've asked the AI to talk to the aliens. I'm not sure that we should introduce them to each other. But we asked the AI how to describe the film in 30 words or less to an alien. They say a rich businessman. So exactly the same as you, maybe.
No.
Are you AI? Is this AI?
Yeah, exactly. Is it me or is it they? Are they following me or am I being indoctrinated by them?
So they say a rich businessman, Thomas Crown, orchestrates a heist to steal a priceless painting. A clever insurance investigator, Catherine, tries to catch him, leading to a game of cat and mouse. Now, if you're explaining to
Yeah, okay.
aliens, first of all, I'm not sure why you're mentioning
No,
people's names. I don't think they care.
no. Yeah.
You would have to
You
clearly
wouldn't.
explain what an insurance investigator was, because you're
Yeah.
assuming that aliens have insurance, which I think is pretty far stretched. And
Yeah.
then a game of cat and mouse.
Yeah.
That's a very human
Niche.
thing to say. I'm not
Yeah.
sure that they're going to know what a cat or a mouse is.
Lots of
And
work
you
for
haven't
that.
really,
Those bots.
yeah,
Yeah.
you haven't orchestrates a heist to steal.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He steals it. Like the other people, that's just a distraction. Again. It seems like the
Yeah.
AI is a bit confused about the painting actually being stolen.
I think you should be doing a TED talk on this, and you should be able to put everyone at ease and go, see, look, they're not that good yet. You're fine. We're still going to be okay.
They're not taking over. As long as the aliens
Yeah.
arrive soon, we're going to be fine. They're still
Yeah.
going to talk to
Can you
us rather than
imagine?
the AI.
Can you imagine your TED talk would be how AI isn't going to take over humanity, and then it would all be around the description of the Thomas Crown affair to aliens.
Well, we'll see. We'll see next week whether the AI has been getting better at predicting the movies. Maybe the descriptions will get better as we go as well.
I've got it this week for sure. I'm telling you.
Nice.
Oh my word.
Not too many good lines, but did you have any?
No. There was one where he's just been investigated and they like go into his house and his lawyer's there, and she then gets into the car with him and she's like, oh, how are you? And he's like, popular. And I was like, that's a good line. I like that.
That's great. Yeah, just as they drive off.
Really, yeah, that was nice. Not really anything else. Not that the script was bad, but just nothing really sort of sprung out to me. How about you? Was there much you saw?
No, I think I don't know. It feels a bit like they studiously avoided the one-liners because that would be too Bond. And so I think some of the like back and forth between them was really good. I think like when he says when they're having the first conversation and he says, oh well, women don't usually get to chase, it's like poker, we don't let you in the game, and they like the conversation is actually really good, and actually like I think like really like interesting conversation about you're a strong woman, you know, you're not allowed to be strong a lot of the time because of the way society like I think it's a really good conversation, but it feels like they don't just have like a one-liner thrown out, because otherwise it gets a bit too Bond.
Yeah, too Bondy.
Yeah, I think
that's a good point actually, and I'm glad they didn't do that, because you're right. You would have. It definitely would. I would have. You're right. We would have now been saying, "Oh, it felt too Bondy," and you're right. And it doesn't. I don't think it does feel Bondy to me.
No, for sure. I love the bit in the end. The bit in the end when the other cop says, "Oh shit, they're going for the staircases." You're just like. I'm sure that is the only time that someone's ever said that in any film. So no,
that's such a good scene. That scene is so good.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I think
especially with the soundtrack.
Like you said. Yes, the music as well. The music was so good on that piece. Yeah. What did the review say then? Are they a bit up and down?
Well, yeah, a little. Some interesting ones. It arrived before the scheduled date in excellent condition. I love this film. And then only 3 stars, which seems a bit harsh.
Yeah, especially as it's arrived in excellent condition.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Maybe one that you wrote. The heist scenes are great. The investigative part is okay. And the romance portion of the film doesn't interest me as much.
Nice. That does sound like I could have written it. I like that review. And that does feel like a 3-star review.
Yeah.
I give that review 3 stars.
Someone then said it's the female of the relationship, Rene Russo, who carries the film. Brosnan is required to do little more than look handsome, hunky, and sophisticated, which which I think is fair. And I don't think
they hide behind that, do they? I think that is what his character is supposed to be.
I think this is one of the strongest female. Honestly, I think this is one of the strongest female characters written in like major Hollywood film
time.
I think still there's still not
90s,
there's still not many strong female characters.
Yeah, it's in like actual taking on. Yeah, what about versus like Clueless? Obviously, we said Clueless is a very good. I guess it's a bit
Yeah,
different,
but it's
right? It's
yeah, no, it's like
lots
a
of
grown up movie, like where the woman protagonist
yeah.
is just as
But
strong.
Clueless is a grown-up movie. It's on your list.
It's not a grown up
It's
movie at all.
not for kids. Yeah.
It's a teen movie, isn't it? It's a young adult. It's
It's
not a grown up movie. This is a
Teen
grown up
Andy.
movie.
Yeah, okay. This was grown-up movie, Andy. Yeah, okay.
Not 1995, Andy. This is I was a grown up by 99. So
Yeah, exactly.
and then as always happens just every so often you just get someone who is just in their own little world for a 3-star review, writing a
Yeah, here we
3-star
go.
review that
Yeah,
they feel like is going to be poetry, but no one reads 3-star reviews. So without further
exactly.
ado, uh,
Yeah.
I wish someone would tell me why Hollywood engages in so many remakes of perfectly fine movies. If the answer were to take a fine movie and make it better in one respect, I'd applaud. Sometimes a classic movie can be made better. Suppose the original is in black and white. Maybe color would make the remake better, or maybe not. Maybe the flaw in the original ending was imposed by the old Hollywood code. A more satisfying and realistic ending in the remake would be a good reason to remake the film. My fear, however, is that the producers these days who want to make an old movie have no idea what is about the old movie that they can improve. In short, they have no imagination, no artistic vision, just the desire to remake a movie. Maybe they hope that some people will see the title, The Thomas Crown Affair, and say, hey, I've heard of that. It's supposed to be pretty good, and buy the DVD. And to their surprise, it's not the movie they heard of, but just the remake. I bet Bedazzled is another of these disappointments, though I haven't seen it. But I can hardly
Wow.
imagine improving on the great original Bedazzled. I'm a sucker for these
Wow.
remakes, but I keep wondering how they could have improved on the original. And 49 times out of 50, I'm disappointed. Bottom line, see one of the Thomas Crown Affair movies, probably the original. But if the remake, then okay. If you see the remake first and you like it, you're in for a treat with the original.
Wow. I mean, there's so much to unpack. Like, we're gonna need a podcast on that review. That
It's just
that is
brilliant.
crazy.
It's just all over the place.
Bonkers. It
I
is
think
all over the place.
it's superb. Bedazzled. Where
I
does
know, out of
like
nowhere.
of
Pull
all the
that
classic
bedazzled.
old movies that we made, they've chosen
Yeah.
Bedazzled, and
The
they haven't even
classic
seen
Brendan
it.
Fraser. Yeah. And then says, "Oh, but I do like remakes." It doesn't sound
Yeah,
like it.
yeah,
It
exactly. Yeah.
really doesn't
And
sound like it.
49 times out of 50, I'm disappointed, but I quite like this movie, and I quite like
Yeah.
remakes.
Yeah,
It's
3 stars. Yeah. That is
it's a
bonkers. We
it's a
need to get
5-star,
more reviews from
3-star
that. Maybe
review.
we should just do reviews from this person every week,
Yeah,
and I could see
yeah.
if I could guess what the film is. Uh,
I'm not
Amazing.
sure. I'm not sure. There's going to be too many other things
Yeah.
on the list.
On your list, yeah.
There's this person.
Um,
Well, what?
so
Yeah. What did you
Algo
go
then.
for then on the Algo?
For me, I think this is, and I think the romance piece, and that if you just take one element of this film I'm about to tell you, I think is almost exactly the same. So I would say Ocean's 12, and specifically Ocean's 12 because it's the piece with Brad Pitt and Catherine Zeta-Jones, that interplay with them, and it's like she's chasing him, all but they have this romance history, and then obviously at the end they both go the same sort of way. So I was like Ocean's 12, that scene, that storyline is almost exactly the same, I would say. And obviously there's heist involved as well.
Yeah.
Entrapment and on the sort of cat and mouse thing, obviously less of the romance, Catch Me If You Can. So they were my three sort of options. What did the Algo come up with?
The Algo went with Entrapment,
Ooh.
Ocean's 12.
Oh no, don't say Catch Me If You Can.
No, the Tourist.
Oh, so it's one versus the other. The Tourist is a terrible film, so no one should watch that.
Tourist looks really, really good. It's obviously a very dodgy film, but it looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Like the
aesthetically.
scenery and stuff. Yeah, aesthetically, it's brilliant. I mean, the fact that the Algo, I think the fact that the Algo went for Ocean's 12 as well, and not Ocean's 11 or 13.
Fuck you, Algo. Stop listening to me. Yeah.
You know, I feel like we've got to give that to the Algo.
Surely, surely it's got to be a draw.
Well, no, because the algo is just trying to predict it. So,
well, yeah, but it's who predicts it
you've
closer.
got to beat the computer, because if the computer's as good as your predictions, then that means that the computer's.
Surely, look at you. Like, I feel like we're starting to get into like Donald Trump territory here. You know, like
Stewart's inquiry. I think we need. What are the rules?
All right, give it to him. Take it. You guys have this one. I don't want it. Yeah. You guys have it, and then I'll still win. All right, so it's 46 on the list. Yeah, I think we both thought that we still enjoyed it, and still a lot of good things in it. So yeah, is it going down, or is it staying on this?
Yeah. I think I'm conscious that I don't want to get too far up the list, because there are a couple of slots to go a little bit further down. But I think this is the top 50 film, so it's just gonna fall to sort of 49, which is the next available slot. I feel like 49 is a good place to be as well, because you just start in the top 50, starts off with a bang with Malcolm X, and then this just kind of mellows it out a bit. It's a good film. It's got good plot, keeps going, great performances. From everyone. It's like what did you think about the very end? I mean, not the fact that they say, well, you're not allowed out of your seat because of the seatbelt signs one, but if you're making out, then basically the air stewardess is like, it's fine. Yeah, I
think that should be a rule in life. And like, it doesn't matter. Any rules allowed to be broken if you're making out.
I mean, that's why I put the double feature should be with Wedding Singer, just so you can sort of see first class air travel through the years. No, it's not. But the broken. I wanted to give a shout out to the two broken arms line. Which I always hated. Like, I always just thought it was just so random. But apparently that is because in The Son of Man, one of his arms is weird. And so there's sort of this thing that, okay, well, actually, it's as though one of his arms is broken. And that's why it's a bit weird. And so what she's saying is, in the painting. So what she's saying is, okay, well, I'd break both of your arms, because if you're the Son of Man. So I really like that. I really appreciate that there's a really art in joke at the end that no one else got. I think that's I'm quite into that now. And then you look at the picture and you're like, oh yeah, it actually kind of looks like his arm is backwards. Even one of his arms is backwards. It's a bit weird. They should have had that on the. They should have had that painting on the cover of the DVD as well, in my opinion.
That would have been. I mean, we know that the DVD was terrible. That's quite funny considering how much they spoon feed you in this entire film. At the end, they're just like, "We're giving you nothing on this at all." Okay.
How about you then? We went into it with the feeling this was maybe going to be a top 5 film. You'd seen it recently. You absolutely loved it.
I mean, I love that you're always so like positive, and you're always thinking this is going to be a top 5. I'm very rarely thinking this is going to be a top 5 film.
You literally said you'd watched it recently and you loved it. What are you talking about?
But that doesn't mean that it's top 5. I did enjoy it. I did think it was good. I think, as I said, you could probably cut out, say, 20 minutes in the middle, or replace it with another heist. So I put it in a good section. So it's 19 of 55. We're getting well into the 50s now. And it is just below The Artist and just above Moneyball. So that's where it's slotted in.
Nice. So sort of mid table of the good.
Exactly.
Section.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And
so what was your double feature then?
I thought Free Jack, because Free Jack and then Thomas Crown Affair is sort of it bookends that run that Renee goes on. I mean, really watch any of the movies in between as well. Ransom's a great movie. Tin Cup.
I'm going to watch Ransom actually.
I have a soft spot for Tin Cup. In the Line of Fire, despite the fact that Clint Eastwood's twice as old as she is. But it's a good movie. John Malkovich is really good in it. She's really good in it. Her cameos in in Lethal, the two Lethal Weapons, I think are great. Yeah. So yeah, I think you can double feature Renee just knocking out the park. I think is good.
Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, I went with the Italian Job. So
Nice.
sort of same
the original
sort of. Well, I'll leave it up to the 3-star reviews. Original or remastered.
Jason Statham.
I
that
think
would have been weird if you would have said
good
Bedazzled. That would have been quite freaky.
Can you imagine?
That would have been like,
Can you imagine?
Definitely spoofing me now. Yeah, no, that's. Yeah. Have you watched The Italian Job recently?
The original or the
no, the original.
Yeah, no, not recently. No.
Yeah.
Does it not hold up?
I'm not. I'm not. I mean, this. We've nearly got through the whole pod without really controversial. Well, to be fair, I said a better Bond than Pierce Brosnan, so that's quite controversial. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm not sure that it holds. There's a lot of planning.
No.
There's a lot of planning, and then the heist itself actually is only like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So I would say it builds up. So
this is a scenario when the remake is better, you think?
I've never seen the remake. I'm not sure that I ever will.
Come on, there's a lovely romance between Mark Wahlberg and Jason Statham. Get on that.
That'll be. I think that'll be just above Solo in the rewatch list. But
I'm going to add that to my list. Make you watch it.
Your top season 2, my top 100 is just spite.
There's all the films Andy doesn't want to watch.
All these Andy films he made me watch. I'm just gonna.
And there'll be no romance in any of them.
There's romance in every film. There's literally romance in every film.
I know. How is this possible?
The listeners are starting to write in and ask if you're okay. I think why is he so anti-romance?
I think it's just I don't need romance in every film.
Yeah, it's getting a bit strong. It's just the run that we're on. I think. Well, actually, there's more romance in the next few films as well. Yeah. So for next week, one of my favorite memes of all time, which is just there'll be no living with her after this. It's a good one. We'll see if people know it or not. And we'll see you next week. Thanks to Tom Miller for the theme song. We'll close up the shop and go and decide which painting we're gonna go and steal. See you next week.